everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. Hope you're all having yourselves a great day. Hope you enjoyed the weekend. It is Memorial Day, so obviously a big shout out to all of those who served. Big thank you. And obviously this is a day where we remember those who are fallen. So big shout out to all of those people. And this is not really a day where you're happy about it. So a lot of our family members and things like that. So I hope you were able to spend time with those you still have here. And I hope everyone is doing well. Appreciate each and every one of you taking the time today. But we're here because tomorrow is Eagles OTAs. Phase 3 is beginning. We'll get some 7-on-7, some full team activities here. You know, we did not have those in the other phases where they were just able to work with the offense or defense, special teams individually. So now we get to see some things. There's no contact or anything like that, but there's excitement here, baby. We've got anything Eagles we're going to get excited about. So appreciate all of you taking the time tonight, whether you're watching this live, you're watching this later. Love to hear your thoughts. My man, Cole C in here. Let's go. Appreciate you tuning in, dude. And yeah, I am definitely looking forward to hearing from the players, the coaches, all that great stuff. So OTA is a time to get excited, but I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's go, baby. But we're going to jump into this thing. We're going to look at the key dates first. So we know that tomorrow we've got OTAs, but there are some more important dates throughout this all season to keep in mind, to keep you excited. And I will try to provide you with as much content as I possibly can throughout this. So let's look at these key dates here. And you see OTAs tomorrow, then June 1st, 2nd, 5th, 6th, and 8th. Then you've got training camp sometime the last week of July. We do not have a mini camp. The only other team to do that is the Bengals. So, okay, now we'll see when that training camp begins. They have not given a specific date yet. But then you have the preseason in the beginning of August. Let's go. And then roster cutdowns are the 29th. One cutdown period this offseason. So going to be intriguing. Get to see a lot of these back-end guys in more of the preseason time. So I like that. We'll see what goes down there, but those are some of the days to keep in mind. Now, we are going to go through this thing, and I'm going to give you the position group rankings, how I have, which is the strongest, and we're looking at it, not just the starters, but the group as a whole. So let's look at these position group rankings. Then I'll take you through as they're ranked what that position looks like. Then afterwards, we'll look as a whole what this team is on the depth chart there, my projected depth chart. And then, of course, the top battles to be looking for. Now, again, this is just OTAs, but we'll have a chance to look at some of these guys for the first time in some of these full team activities. But then once we get to training camp, we'll really have some battles here. So excited about that. But we're still looking at the battles, getting excited here, right? So this is how I've got it ranked. And we'll go through this, and I'll show you why I've got it like this. But got quarterbacks at the top, edge rushers, corners, interior D linemen, offensive tackles, running backs, interior O-line, wide receivers, tight ends, safeties, specialists, and then linebackers. So strongest to weakest there. You see it. But I'm going to go through each of these positions as they're ranked. So we'll start it off with quarterbacks. I'll show you who the starter is, who the backup, all that great stuff for each position. So as we go through this, let me know your thoughts, whether you guys think that, you have someone ranked higher, whatever position it may be, whatever's on your mind. Let's effing go. What is going on? BDC in the building, my man. Enjoying being back home. Had a great time, though. Get to see some family here in the Memorial Day weekend. Got to go to my brother's new cabin. That was pretty awesome. And it was a great time out there getting to see a bunch of family and spending it with my family. So it was awesome, man. Had a great time, but I hope you're all doing well. Appreciate you taking the time on this Monday. My man Drew in here. Let's go. Hope you're all ready. I'm excited. I know it's just OTAs, but let's go, baby. Let's effing go. But let's take one more quick little gander. We're starting it off with the QBs here. And I've got it number one because, well, Jalen Hurts, he's our best player, the MVP candidate last season, and he's only going to get better, all about it. But I really like Marcus Mariota as a backup. I think that is quite the upgrade over Gardner Minshew. I think he fits what we're doing here. So love that. Now, beyond that, quarterback 3, going to be intriguing to see the battle there, McKee and Book. So something to keep our eyes on there. But, the top 2 guys there, I feel very comfortable with the quarterback position. So just going ahead and starting off with QB1 at number 1. And then at number 2, we did have those edge rushers there. So let's take a look here. Now, last season, you had 3 guys over 10-plus sacks there. Actually, they had like over 11 or 12-plus sacks each, Sweat, Reddick, and Graham. but you drafted Nolan Smith with pick 30. You've got Derek Barnett coming back from injury. Then you've got a bunch of other guys. Now, if you'll notice here, I've got both sides of, and you're going to have your weak side linebackers and your strong side linebackers, your Sams and your Wills in those odd fronts. So these guys considered outside linebackers. It can be considered defensive end at times. It really just depends, and they're interchangeable here in this defense. So we're calling them the edge rushers here. But on one side, you got Sweat. The other, you got Reddick. And Nolan Smith will be backing up Reddick. You got Graham backing up Sweat. Derek Barnett as DN5. And then who wants to be 6'7"? So you've got a lot of depth there at edge rusher. Then I had cornerbacks at number 3. And this was tough to really decide even between the top 3, the top 5, really, because all of it, man, this team is really stacked. But at corner, you've got 3 studs, man. The best at their position. I think Avonte Maddox is one of the best nickel corners in the game when healthy. And hoping he stays healthy, hoping everyone on this team stays healthy. But I think that this, secondary here, starting with the corners, is loaded. Beyond that, you brought in Greedy Williams. You drafted Kaylee Ringo. You got some undrafted kids in Garner and Ricks. And then last year, Joby and Goodrich were here. You've got Scott McPherson. So lots of competition. I feel that the cornerback position is very, very deep here. So got them at number 3. And honestly, it was really hard to decide these because I really feel very good about those positions. Now, the next one up was the interior defensive lineman after the corners. And again, this was tough because I almost wanted to put them 2, then 3. And it was like, oh my God. But man, do I love what we have here. You've got Carter, Cox, Davis, Williams, all bringing something different to the table. And the depth here, having Tuipulotu coming back from injury, Street brought in from free agency, and then Moro Ojomo drafted this season with our final pick. And Noah Ellis was injured all of last year. So all these guys going to get a chance to compete, but this is quite a deep position here. So the D-line, you can see the interior guys and the edge rushers, they are in the top 4 there. So I feel that is a very big strength of the Philadelphia Eagles. But even at number 5 with the tackles here, look, probably the best duo in the game in Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata. I just think, Jack Driscoll is great depth. So that's a big strength. It's just beyond that, who wants to be the guy? I think Trevor Reed could win that job, with experience as a left tackle, but any of these guys will be competing. You got the veterans in Fred and Roderick Johnson. You've got Brett Toth coming back. Chim Okorafor was brought in. So you've got some competition here. I feel it is one of the best strengths. It's just, if anyone were to go down, I do like Driscoll. I do. It's kind of questionable. So I didn't have them in the top 3, but I still feel that our offensive line is probably one of the best, if not the best, in the game. But up next is running backs. And look, this is now a loaded room. You get rid of Miles Sanders, but you add Swift and Penny. You brought back Scott. Sermon's here with Kennedy Brooks again in this offseason. Actually, we did not have Sermon, but we had him here on the roster last year. I think, having an offseason will help out Sermon. Going to be fun to watch these guys competing, but that 3-headed monster, very excited about this running back room. We know that this is obviously another position where, got to stay healthy, but you got to stay healthy everywhere. But I feel that, even if they didn't, you've got some pretty strong depth here. Excited to watch the competition there. But I had mentioned the tackles, mentioned this being one of the best offensive lines in the game, if not the. Now, this is at number 7, but this is still one of our strongest positions. You've got Dickerson and Kelsey. It's just the question mark is what had them drop a little bit. So you have here Steen and Juergens because we'll see who wins the job. I have my money on Steen, but I don't care. Whoever the better guy is. Love Cam Juergens. I know he's going to do great when he takes over for Kelsey. So if it is going to be Steen as the future, let's start now while he's next to Kelsey and Lane gets to learn. I'm all about it. Then Juergens steps in next year. Let's ride. Now, Opeta, Robinson, Good Jones, Tom. We've got some intriguing depth there. So with it being question marks and being question mark as to who's the depth there. Now, whoever wins the right guard job, the other guy could be depth. So that's fantastic. But who's the other depth there? But to me, it's still a very, very big strength of the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think, being at number 7 here and talking about it being, part of one of the best position groups at their, position, the offensive line, I think they are one of the best. So that's still pretty damn good. And that's how I feel about this offensive line. But some questions to be had, some fun to be had this offseason when checking out these positions. So we're just trying to give you an idea of what's going down. And we're not going to get too many answers here in OTAs. That's more training camp stuff and in the offseason with the preseason games. But we shall see more. My man, Philly559, appreciate you tuning in, dude. Hope you're doing well. Love to see you in here as well, Colin, my man. Hope you guys are doing awesome. I hope you had a great weekend. Team is stacked indeed, my man. And look, we'll talk about how I feel about adding some of this depth here. Best part of the O-line, stuff like some. Yeah, man, and I've talked about that. Steen, he loves him. So for me, he's the starter. We'll see. I don't care. Whoever the better man is, they're still going to be part of one of the best lines. We have not signed him, so we'll see tomorrow or OTA. So if he's there, you know that he's that guy taking up that final roster spot. If they have someone else in mind or want to do something, maybe they do that tomorrow. We shall see. But probably want to get things rolling when it comes to adding guys, with OTA starting tomorrow. So now on to number 8 and the rest. You can see wide receivers. This is crazy that the wide receivers are at number 8 because honestly, I was like, man, they should be in the top 5. But again, we're talking about question marks here. So with the question mark at 3, look, Olamide and Quez, whoever the best man is, whoever wins, I still feel this is one of the best damn groups in the league. So this is one of our strengths. It's just the questions of the entire group. So we're looking at the back end. Who the hell wants to be 5? Is there going to be a 6 that we keep? Is there going to be somebody that can provide some return capability here? So I love this group. I think it's still one of our strengths. So you're still talking about a team that at number 8, I feel that one of the best in the league. So this is by in no way a weakness. I think that this only reason I had this is because you don't know what Quez is going to do. Hopeful that Olamide can come here and ball out, and you're hopeful one of those back end guys steps up, but that's hopes. So it's not stacked like some of the other positions that I feel like, well, even if something happens, I feel pretty good. If something happens at wide receiver, I'm going to be scared shitless. So that's just kind of where my mind was at when making this, but I still feel pretty damn stacked. Now, up next was tight end, the other skilled pass catching position here. And look, I love Dallas Goedert, one of the best tight ends in the game. And behind him, you got Jack Stoll as that H-back type tight end and Grant Calcaterra taking on that Y type, the F type tight end, the receiving type guy. I thought that when given the opportunity, they really didn't step up where I liked them to. So you bring in Dan Arnold. Dalton King was here last year, but you bring him back. Brady Russell was brought in as an undrafted kid. So you've got competition. Tyree Jackson back again from injury. Hopefully he stays healthy and tries to do something. But I think that, Dan Arnold, he's going to give Grant Calcaterra a run for his money. He's going to definitely push him. We'll see who wins the job there. But you actually have some competition there. I like it. I was hopeful for more of a blocking type tight end at tight end 2, but Jack Stoll, they love him. So if they can just continue to improve his blocking, he continues to get better, then I'm okay with it. And look, man, I like Jack Stoll. So again, this is one of those positions where I feel that there's just some question marks behind the starter. And if something happens, we saw what happened last year. They kind of struggled. Now, another year, another chance to, develop. So in the offseason, so we'll see what these guys do. Excited to watch the competition there, but at number 8 is where I had the tight ends there, or 9, I'm sorry. But I think that, it's still a strong position for the Eagles. You do have some depth there. Now, even at safety, I have him at 10, but I really feel that, you guys know how I felt pre-draft about Sidney Brown. When we drafted him, I was running through walls. So in love with the pick, but Reed Blankenship, he stepped in, did great last year as an undrafted free agent, but he's going to have to step it up. He's got Terrell Edmonds brought in here in free agency. Then you've got Kayvon, who did pretty well at the end of the year last year. Justin Evans brought in free agency, and Tristan McCollum here. So you've got, competition there, but it's just very questionable as to what these guys are going to do. I think Sidney Brown's going to ball out. Hopefully he can win the starting job, but I don't know if that actually happens. So I can predict as much as I want, and I can predict that Terrell Edmonds will do well and Reed will do well, but I just don't know. And I don't know who's going to be the back end guy. So there's so many questions as to who the starter is and who the depth is that I've got safety here at number 10. But again, I really feel that this is a kind of strong position. I like the top 3 we have, and I think if they play to the standard, I think they will. I think we'll be all right. I would love to have Budda Baker. Do not get me wrong. That would be holy hell. But it's not like a dire need to me. I think that the 3 safeties we have, I'm pretty excited about them. It's just very questionable as to who the starters, the depths. So that's why they are down here. Now, Up next, I have the specialists, and we'll start off with the actual, specialists here, as in the kickers, the punters, long snappers. So you see two guys battling it out, Sippos and Zentner. So I love the fact that we have a battle, but look, they call Zentner Legatron, so that's exciting, right? But let's see how well he actually does. And, Sippos, he had his struggles, so I just don't know what's going to happen. I feel that kicker and long snapper, we got two of the best at their positions. Very excited there, but with the huge question mark at punter, maybe add a veteran, an older guy, just to give even more competition if you want. But I think they're comfortable here, but to me, it's a huge question mark. So I've got them here. And then within the specialists here, talking about return specialists, last year, Covey as the punt returner, Scott as the kick returner. Not exactly jumping off the page here. Oh, Boston Scott is the kick returner. I like Covey. I thought he did a lot better than most people think. The blocking kind of sucked ass. So if we can block, I think another year this kid will do better. But he's got some dudes that have some experience. So you have Cleveland that was brought in at the end of last year. Now in this offseason, you've got some undrafted dudes in Nada and Rambo. And then you've got Greg Ward back. So guys that are vying for a job with that return capability. So these return specialists I've got here. But then you see I've got even smaller. I've got some guys that probably be starters, but they can provide some help there. So maybe you're thinking, in a super important situation, maybe I put Kenny G back there. Maybe, Rashad Penny hasn't done much in the NFL, but if you guys remember him back in college, holy dude, he had like 7 kick return touchdowns. The dude can definitely do that. So if you're looking at Swift as the starter, Kenny G and Penny mixing in there, I mean, holy hell, it's going to be, running back by committee, whatever. But you could use him possibly. So I'm intrigued to see if maybe we give that a shot this offseason. And obviously, Devontae in an important situation could take the punt return. Quez tried a kick return. Maybe they give him another shot. Olamide has some return experience. So maybe these guys dabble a little bit there. We shall see. But to me, a lot of question mark as to what's going on. Now, with the NFL changing everything with the damn returns, I guess maybe it won't matter as much. But to me, that is definitely something to be looking out for. Now, the number one, the thing that I feel, I don't want to call it the weakest link because I feel we're pretty damn strong at most positions. And even at linebacker, I'm not saying that it's a bad position, but big question marks. Nakobe Dean, we're all ecstatic about that pick last year. We know that Kaiser White and TJ Edwards were balling out. That's why he didn't play. Only other fans are confused about that. We know why. Now it's his chance to step up. Well, you bring in Nicholas Morrow, who can definitely play that weak side, but he can play a little middle. And the same goes for Nakobe. So you have those interchangeable linebackers, and in this defense, we're going to need that. So I love, those two and the idea, but they've got to stay healthy. Morrow, obviously, coming off an injury, had some major injury history the year before last. So I think that, there's question marks here. And behind them, if anything were to happen, who the hell's stepping up? Christian Ellis was brought onto the active roster last year because of the special team sucking. But Davian Taylor was on the practice squad. He couldn't, live up to his draft spot. So unfortunate. You bring in undrafted kid Ben Van Sumeren. So you've got some competition. I love Sean Bradley. I'm excited about him being healthy and getting another year. And I think, with this being his 4th year, he's really got to step it up this offseason. So if he could be that third linebacker, hell yeah. But I think with all the talk and all the questions about will the Eagles add, should they add anywhere, I think this goes to show, with this being my number one, I guess the bottom, number 12 here, they, could add someone. And man, we've talked about it. The likes of Patrick Queen. I know Devin White is out there. There's many options, and the Eagles could definitely look to make a trade. Maybe sign a free agent like Miles Jack. I know a lot of people like that. Not exactly where I would go. We talked about some other veteran players. I think Zach Cunningham was one of the names we had mentioned. So not sure. We'll talk about again after these periods here, what goes down. Some of the free agents still available, all those things. But we just did that about a week ago. So go check that out and you'll see. And I'm sure some of those guys have signed. So just beware. It is a little bit older. But let's take a look at all that stuff that I just threw at you. And we'll actually see it in a depth chart there. So let's look at the offense here first. And you will see all those positions I just showed you crammed in here. And this is my projection here as to how I see it. And Rashad Penny and Swift, I really have it like 1A, 1B. And I put Penny there as third because I think Kenny G is that second back. He's that guy that's going to spell, but it's by committee, man. It really, I think Swift's going to lead the way, and then Kenny is going to play a very pivotal spot, and I think Penny could too, though. So I want to see how it shakes out. These guys can stay healthy, but very excited about these guys behind this offensive line. And then who wants to take that fourth or fifth spot as well? Scott, Sermon, Brooks there. So then you see the receivers, man. A lot of competition and a lot of questionable competition, but you added some undrafted kids, a free agent, and, some of these other guys from last year are going to have to try to step it up to make this roster, but we'll see. And then tight end, you've got some competition there. And then offensive line, we're going to have to find out about that guard spot. Then on the defensive side of the ball, I have 12 starters here just to show you the 5-man fronts, what that could look like, and also have the nickel corner in there. And just so you know, we use a lot of nickel as well. So you'll see a lot of the 4-man fronts also, but going to see a lot. You see that you've got the edge rushers here. So on one side, more your defensive end type guys. You've got Sweat, Graham, Barnett, Robinson, Jackson, and Leo. And then on the other side of the edge rushers, more of your Sam guys that will play will linebacker as well. It just really depends on what the strong or weak side is, but we just play it by side, not really changing the players around. So you'll see that Reddick, Smith, Johnson, and Johnson, that's going to be some great competition at the back end. So love the edge rushers, the interior guys. Oh, my God. Milton Williams is going to see his snaps. I don't care if he's not listed as a starter. He will ball out this year. Then the linebackers, we talked about Dean and Morrow, the guys behind him, who's going to step it up. Then that secondary, loaded with talent. Love the trio of corners. The safety, sure, a little bit of question as to who will be the starters, but I think Sidney Brown can definitely take that job. Obviously, to start OTAs, I do believe Blankenship and Edmonds will lead the way, but I think Sidney will take that job. I'm really looking forward to that. And then the return guys, we talked about that. Didn't throw all of them in there, but you can see, Elliott and then Sippos and Zentner battling it out. Lovato there, and then Covey, Scott as your returners with Ward, Cleveland, Rambo, Zacchaeus, Nada, all kinds of guys trying to battle it out. Now, I'm going to show you, after showing all of those things, what my top battles are. So I'm going to give you the top 13. It's going to be top 5 from the offense, 6 from the defense, and then I had 2 special teams. So we'll talk about where within those positions I feel that the Eagles need to be looking here. So let me take a gander at these comments here. Yo, my man Reese, really appreciate that super chat, my dude. Sorry, I was just trying to get through those damn positions so I could hear your thoughts about this. Going to get into my top battles, but I would love to hear your guys' top battles here. If we sign another marquee player, what makes softball linebacker? And I just went through that, Reese, and sorry if you asked this before I got to that, but as you can see, I had linebacker as probably the biggest need. So for me, I think adding someone like a Patrick Queen would be huge. I think I would, him and Dean together. Oh my Lord. And then Morrow is depth. And that would make me feel a lot more comfortable. At safety though, if you add a Buda Baker, whoa. There ain't no questions at safety then, right? So that's a tough question now that you heard what I said there within those positions. But I think for me, looking at safety, I do think Sidney Brown will step it up. So that's why I felt a little bit more comfortable about safety than I did at linebacker. So I'm hopeful. Let's hope Edmonds and, Blankenship gets better and, Sidney Brown steps in and balls out. And if those things happen, then I'm great. But again, Buda Baker, holy shit, you had an all-pro safety. I'm jumping through the effing wall, right? Because you got a leader here. And then it's just who wants to start next to him, which is crazy because then you got those other 3 guys battling. So iron sharpens iron. I would be all about that. But linebacker, again, I feel that's like the position where it's like, I don't know that, Morrow is going to ball out. I think he's a perfect fit for what we're trying to do here. I think I feel a little bit better than some people, but definitely question marks there. So I would say linebacker, my man. And a big shout out to you and a thank you for that super chat, my man. Cannot thank you enough. Hope you had a fantastic Memorial Day weekend. Hope you stayed safe and got to enjoy some time with friends and family, my man. Yo, Block, hope you're doing well. Hope you all had a great weekend. Hope you're off to a great start. Hope you had off today, got to enjoy some time with family. No, I like Justin Evans a lot, but that's the question mark, though. Who wants to be the safety? Who wants to be the depth? So just question marks everywhere. But again, like I said, I still feel like it's a strength. So I feel pretty good about most positions. I don't think there's a place where, and I've said this over and over again, sorry if I didn't just say this a second ago, but I don't think you need to go out anywhere and get anybody. I think I still feel this is a Super Bowl caliber, Super Bowl winning roster. But if you add one of those guys, that's just ensuring that you have that, right? So injuries happen, all kinds of things could happen. So why not get better, right? And you've got $13.45 million of cap space. We've talked about that. So why not? Why not? So all about it. Yo, my man, AK. Hope all has been well. Nice to see you in the chat, my dude. Hope you and the family enjoyed the Memorial Day weekend. Hope you had the day off. Nolan Smith, yeah, how about it? How about it? The dude is a beast. Cannot wait to watch him feast. I cannot. And look, some of those guys we listed as depth, but do not think that they're not going to get snaps in that rotation. So, oh, hell yeah, but I'm doing well, Jock Talk. Appreciate you tuning in, my man. John in here, let's go. Getting this party started. We just went through all of the positions. You got to see where I felt the strengths were, everything about that. We'll know in a couple weeks about him. Made a video not too long talking about that. But believe Milton Williams, oh, yeah, I was just mentioning that a second ago. I'm with you on that. I think this dude's going to be a stud, finally getting another uptick. And when he does get his chance, he shines each time. So I'm a huge fan of him. Had a dream with Zion Buddha and D-Hop. Well, we would have absolutely no money. We'd probably have to get rid of a couple people there. Not a lot, but to make that happen. But I think it would probably be one or the other. But I would be okay with Buddha Baker. Wouldn't be mad if you got D-Hop. I think that might be a little overkill. And I don't think you need to take targets away from those other guys. I think just need someone to step up as wide receiver 3, as we talked about. But, hey, not against it, Justin. Not against it at all, my man. Appreciate you tuning in, and each and every one of you that's been commenting. Thank you for commenting, tuning in, all that stuff. You're watching this later. Feel free to chime in, whatever's on your mind. But we're going to go through these battles. Keep the questions, comments coming. Let me know how you feel about this. But let's look at the offense. I got the top 5 battles here on offense. Clearly, number 1's going to be for the right guard, Tyler Steen, Cam Jurgens. Who wants to win it? Oh, boy. Now, guys like Driscoll, Sua Opeta, they're not going to just bend over here and give it up. But I think it's between those two. So, let's go. And I've told you I think Steen takes it, but hey, may the best man win. Then wide receiver 3, Quez. Olamide, who wants to step it up, be that third guy, or does it just want to be 3A, 3B because they're both balling out? I'm all about it. Let's go. Tight end 2, tight end 3. What the hell? Is it you or me? Jack Stoll, Grant Calcaterra, Dan Arnold. You've got guys that are behind it. We mentioned a second ago in Keene, and who else you got there? Tyree Jackson, Russell was there. So you've got some other guys, but I think it's really to find out who wants to be 2 and 3 here. Stoll, Calcaterra, Dan Arnold. Looking forward to that. I think Stoll takes one of those spots. Can Calcaterra beat out Dan Arnold? Then you look at wide receiver 5 and 6. Well, again, you see up top, wide receiver 3. Whoever wins that, clearly the other guy will be 4. So I think both those guys make the roster. So I've got 5, maybe 6 receivers making it. Covey, Allen, Ward, Hazelwood, Cleveland, Nada, and Rambo all battling it out. Going to be intriguing to watch that one. Clearly not the most of utmost importance because, well, we've got the best duo in the game, and we're hopeful that wide receiver 3 battle really answers some questions. Don't have to worry about those back-end guys, but if they provide some return capability, that would be great. Then on offense, we went to quarterback here as Ian Book. Now, right guard up top there, we talked about guard depth. That could be considered, number 1, 2. Let's just consider the depth for those guys. But at quarterback, depth, man, the back end, you've got Ian Book, Tanner McKee battling it out. You've got Tanner McKee, the draft pick this year. Ian Book, we picked up off the waivers last year. So we'll see who wants to be the third guy, but that is a battle to watch. They're both going to get plenty of preseason action. Those are going to be the quarterbacks that you get used to because Mariota is not going to have to play too much, and neither is Hurts. So Book and McKee, we're going to be watching that one. We'll see how it goes down. Let me know how you feel about those offensive battles. Which one are you looking forward to the most? Maybe you've got an opinion on who wins all of these jobs. Maybe just one of these positions you've got an opinion on. Whatever it is, let me hear it. Let's move on to the defense in this one. I picked 6. So number 1, you've got another spot where you need to find out who the starter is, and that's at safety. Brown, Blankenship, Edmonds. But who wants to be the top 2? But again, I talked about packages where you see 3 of those guys on the field at the same time. So I think they're all going to get some work. Let's effing go. Then at linebacker, the depth pieces. Who the hell's going to be behind Dean and Morrow? You got Bradley, Ellis, Taylor, and Van Sumeren. So big question mark there as to who wants to be behind those 2. Then you've got the safety position, Justin Evans, Kayvon Wallace, and Tristan McCollum. And, just mentioned in the comments by somebody there, Justin Evans, when we signed him, I told you guys, look, this guy has starting capability. Some injuries kind of hindered him, but I think, he did great on special teams too. So he can help you there. He's going to provide value. So I think that dude will make the team. who maybe is the fifth. Is it Kayvon Wallace? Is it Tristan McCollum? But the top three guys, I think, make it. So beyond that, looking forward to see who wants to be the depth there. Then you see at cornerback, oh, my Lord. So the only guy I didn't list other than our top three, at 4, I have Kaylee Ringo. I think he just makes a squad. We traded up for him. They're excited about him. Georgia dog, let's effing go. Now, Greedy Williams, I think he could be a lock too, almost in the sense that a free agent signing that I think is going to have an impact. But he needs to show me. So he's going to be battling it out for that 5th spot. Do we keep a 6th spot? Talking about that safety right above him, probably only keep 4 or 5 and 5, 4 and 6 or 5 and 5. So maybe 10 D backs, maybe 11. We'll see. But really depends on what is going on with some of these guys, because some of them bring that versatility, like a Josiah Scott, Josh Jobe, a little bit of Mario Goodrich, maybe Garner. You see a little bit of safety work. So we'll see if these guys can be versatile, interchangeable, and provide some depth at other areas. That would go a long way. So that back end spot for those corners, that is going to be a fun one to watch, but feel pretty comfortable about the starters. So it's just going to be fun to be able to be like, man, we have some great starters. Can't wait to see who makes it as the backups. Now, defensive tackles, man, we talked about how loaded we are. Well, look at the back end. You got Tuipulotu coming back from injury. You got Kentavious Street, who was signed, and then Ojomo, who was drafted. Noah Ellis also coming back from injury. And man, there's some excitement about each and every one of those guys. Noah Ellis is pretty much the only other nose tackle who is a monster 2-gap run stuffer that really can do what Jordan Davis does. So we'll see if we decide to keep someone like that this year or just rely on Davis staying healthy and something were to happen. You've got Linval Joseph and Dominican Sue out there in free agency. So I don't know, but I'm excited about Tuipulotu. He looked great last year. Kentavious Street is another baller, man, who's had lots of starting reps for the Niners and Saints. And I think that his versatility on the defensive line, he really can provide something here. So excited to see which guys can try to make this roster, who can try to stick around for the practice squad. And then the last one on defense here, you can see edge rusher. Talk about how stacked we are with and even Derek Barnett as defensive end 5 or edge rusher 5. That is, holy hell. I love it, man. And I know people dislike him, but here's the thing. He's not starting anymore. He's all the way down there. And sure, he's a first-round pick, so you want him to be balling, but he's not. So, look, as a depth piece, that's a great depth piece to have. That's my thoughts on it. But you can see the guys behind it. You got Patrick and Kyron Johnson, who kind of played depth to Hassan Reddick. But if they can get some reps as DNs, which they did a little bit at times, hands in the dirt, I think, with Nolan Smith now really behind Reddick, they're going to have to prove their worth. You had Janarius Robinson you traded for last year. Teron Jackson's here, who was on the practice squad, who we drafted the year before that. Then Matt Leo from the International Player Program does not get that exemption anymore, so he's going to have to prove his worth. Who do those back-end edge rushers want to be? And we kept 11, or no. It was 13 when you considered all of the edge rushers when it came to the outside linebackers and DNs and the interior D linemen. So you could see a lot of these guys making it. You could see, upwards of the 6 D tackles, and you could see 7 edge rushers, 4, DNs, 3 Sam linebackers. We'll see outside linebackers, because again, they can play Sam, they can play Will, whatever. But then the bottom 2 here, I've got filling out that 13 here. Special teams up next. And again, we just talked about this. Zentner, Sipos, the punter battle. Really looking forward to that one. And then the specialists, Covey and Scott. If someone can take their job, try to make this roster as a return guy, we shall see, ladies and gentlemen. But holy hell, that is all I've got for you tonight. That hopefully you enjoyed all that information. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like button. You can always subscribe to the channel down below, but would love to hear your thoughts on that. How do you feel about some of those battles? Who do you have winning it? Whatever's on your mind, let me know. About the Hassan Reddick rule, Niners pitching rule. Do we see that? Yeah, every team can suit up a third quarterback without it counting against the roster. Shouldn't have to, because we have O-line and our quarterback. Yeah, man, they're the only ones that need help. So that's why they had to make that rule for them. But if you guys enjoyed this content, do me a favor and hit that like button. The more we keep building this bad boy, the more, the better things get. We'll just say that. But look, this has already been a fun off season. We'll continue getting the information out. I told you I'll keep breaking things down to the best of my ability. Go check out. We talked about the defense last week. Go check out that video. Go check out Honest NFL on Twitter. Told you he's been pumping out more content about that defense. The more I learn about it and the more information I get, the more I will give that to you. So I'm going to keep trying to do as much as I can. And once OTAs happen tomorrow, I'll give you as many pictures, videos they let us have. I will show you what went down. We'll get excited because this season is going to be the one, baby. We're getting that effing trophy back. Let's effing go. But I hope you all had a great day. Hope that you're all staying safe out there. If you need anything, please feel free to reach out. My man, Drew, appreciate you reaching out. Those of you that have reached out and I didn't see it yet, trying to get back to all the messages, but you guys are awesome. Again, I know this isn't exactly a celebratory kind of holiday, but hopefully you were able to spend it with the people that you care about, the friends and family. And look, love you all. Appreciate a big thank you to all of those of you who have served. And look, we're sending all of our prayers and good vibes to all of you who have lost someone. And, look, I have family that served, and I know what that could be about. And I've got some friends that have served. And look, I'm here for you. You need anything, please feel free to reach out. It doesn't have to be about football. Always here for you guys as you are for me. But have yourselves a great rest of your night. Until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all stay safe out there. And as always, say it with me now. Go Birds!